championship, and that's been paired with something unique as well in missing. This flexibility in the bot side has been a big standout performer, but we're still seeing Hope having these pop-offs like the desk was talking about earlier, so we'll have to see exactly how they want to try and play around this. This is a bit of a Kanavi special if he wants to go for it, but Kanavi has been a main stage carry for JDG. Highest goal per minute, highest damage percent of any jungler at Worlds, at least at the start of the day.
I think we're getting Renekton on 5 then.
Yeah,
we are.
There we go.
We're gonna get the Renekton Nidalee, so they don't even care, man. They're just gonna slap it down. We'll have to see how it can work out, because Renekton Nidalee is about as early game as you can get. Renekton, Nidalee, Kalista. This is a game that if G2 can survive the early stages, they massively outscale when you're looking at Graves, Maokai, Tristana, Rell, all these picks that are going to be very, very strong in the later stages of the game. It's going to come down to execution here for JDG. Obviously, we saw Nidalee come out once already. Inspired did run it against G2. It did not look good whatsoever, but this is Kanavi. It is another beast, and this is 369 Renekton, which is so terrifying. 369 in playoffs on Renekton, it felt like anytime he locks it in, it's a guaranteed solo kill.
And it feels like at the moment you really want to try and get Missing to be working alongside Kanavi as well, right? So it feels like trying to push in on bot side, then unlock Missing so it can actually play with Kanavi, set up for that vision that JDG have been so good at doing all year long. It feels like that's where they're going to be trying to support Kanavi, and again, see if they can go for those dives on top side.
And while it is a bit of a surprising pick to actually see the Nidalee slap down here, Kanavi is not shy to stray away from the meta. This is a guy that was bringing out Morgana when no one was playing it. He's bringing out the Bel'Veth when no one was playing it, and now bringing out the Nidalee here. And you have to wonder, are they trying to bring this out against G2 to make Damwon worry later on, about these picks, to make future opponents worry about the possibility that they could go full on early game and just run you over? I think it really could be helpful, coming into that BO5 stage for the drafts, but they have to be able to execute on it. They have to be able to make it look terrifying here against G2 if they want people to respect it later on in the tournament for pick and ban.
And I think it's great to see Kanavi kind of going back towards this style, right? We kind of talked about in the LPL in summer how he'd shifted to playing more towards his lanes, more so than what we'd seen in 2021 or even 2020, the last time JDG were at the World Championship. But now we're getting kind of go back to that 2020 style where in spring he was a big Sylas jungle player, the Nidalee jungles, the Graves jungles. It feels like Kanavi's getting back to that position where he can show what he is worth and how to play carry from the jungle.
Oh man, I love the banter. Jankos in all chat. Damwon Nidalee, wow. Jankos with all the Nidalee memes about himself as well. But will be a scary one. I mean, definitely, if Kanavi can really push the pace here, this could be terrifying. He is playing Electrocute, so definitely going to have the early game burst here potentially. I'm interested to see, how much it's going to be about, looking for the invades and looking, to try to steal away those camps.
Alrighty, well, keep in mind there's a Prime Gaming giveaway, 150,000 RP to several lucky fans every single day of Worlds. Check it out. The lower third down there. Get in, get your free RP. If you get lucky, would be pretty nice. BrokenBlade spotting out what might be an invade, but just sees that 369 is only spotting the jungle start. We'll try to see what Jankos is up to. The sweeper is on, missing Will. Yeah, be able to get the 10 gold shared over, they get the XP. And it's gonna be the red buff invaded and started for Kanavi.
And I like the start as well already, right? You want to be trying to play for Hope and Missing so they can play aggressive on the spot side, especially Hope going for the exhaust and ignite. They want to try and go ham in this lane, so having that map split could be really good for them.
And I'm actually really, really interested to see, if Kanavi is going to go back towards top side and try to defend his own top quadrant, though, because you have Renekton as a pushing lane here, and you do have Sylas, pushing through mid, so he's actually going to retreat back to his own red and go for the drive-by gank on the Caps.
Caps wants level 2, though, doesn't get enough minions to make it happen. There we go, finally has maybe a shuriken flip. Is he the energy? Out goes for the stealth, and he will stay alive.
I just think this is such smart pathing here from Kanavi. Yeah, you could play split map, but you want to play to the side of your Renekton. You have a pushing lane top, as BrokenBlade's likely going to have to recall here. 369 was proxying the wave you could see on the mini-map. YaGao was pushing so heavily through mid, really trying to contest this to make sure there's no opportunity for Jankos to actually counter-invade and take away the enemy red. So now Jankos is just going to have to take the L on this and accept that he's going to be down a couple camps. And you can see Kanavi cheats up towards topside, takes the Raptors. Now he's going down towards blue, so he can actually have a late take on the red and then use that potentially towards a top lane gank later on. So I think this is really, really smart, and there's not really any opportunity for Jankos to get something back.
And it's only going to become more dangerous as well for Jankos because you've got help in mid now for YaGao. He can continue to bully out Caps. You've already got control for 369 on top side. Bot side is fully in favor of the pushing 2v2, so Kanavi can now play off of pretty much any side of the map he wants.
Flash engage going to land there for the first stun. Hope could be the easy target there. gonna stay in range. They blow up the cask, and it's first blood into a jump, and missing, might be missing his entire health bar. Stun's gonna land. Another rocket jump available, but still, it's gonna be the 2-0 start of the bot side.
And that's just a sloppy play from Hope and missing. You know that Jankos is on bot side. He got spotted out by all that vision you put down early, but staying around too long, trying to crash that wave, and great punish from Jankos to get in there.
Yeah, great punish from G2, but I agree. Very, very sloppy stuff from JDG. That was literally warded out, right? Like they saw that Graves, they had 3 wards actually in the enemy bot lane. They have now expired, but they should know exactly where Graves is. They knew he didn't go up towards topside, so pretty shocked that they just played that disrespectfully to the enemy jungler, and now you give over a couple of easy kills here, 1 to Jankos, 1 towards the Tristana, and now they're not really even behind at all. You know, they're looking really, really good.
Oh, that was so nice, though. W flash into Crashdown is, I mean, that's just really good by Targamas. Yes, they should have been autoing him, but that is honestly perfect play from the G2 support.
Yeah, it just feels very, very strange here that you're not expecting that to come through. You've already got the wave crash. You could have just reset, gone back, spent your gold and come back in, but now kind of giving over that pressure on the bot side. I like that Targamas immediately tries to help out mid as well, because just trying to correct some of these lane states can then make it very difficult for Kanavi to actually have the support he needs if he wants to try and keep Jankos in tow, especially when you see that CS discrepancy in the jungle.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a big CS discrepancy, but Jankos is up gold now, right?
Yeah.
Because he actually got gifted, you know, a pretty free kill there and the assist, and Jankos right down towards bot again. X-Flash coming in, they're going to go for this.
He's going to get the flip back into the stun, into the rocket jump, the combo they wanted to go for, and Hope is certainly going to die. And can they get a bit more, though? Gets the rocket jump to push in for the next one. There's the reset, and missing. He's going to drop a double kill in for Flakked.
G2 are crushing the JDG bot lane, playing so disrespectfully. And Jankos is down here time and time again. G2, 1.3k gold ahead here, only 5 minutes in. 3 kills on the Tristana, a full 1k up on Hope.
Oh, that's BrokenBlade with no agency left. He's got no
he's
mana.
dead.
He can get his passive and a grasp off maybe. But the Kanavi jump in. They're going to find the stun and the javelin and everything they possibly need. He can't even drop back without mana to cast spells. The flash javelin to stop the recall gets him a kill.
Finally, JDG gets something back, but I don't like watching angry G2 because they are looking so good at the moment. And the fact that they're playing around this Tristana on the bot side as well means that it becomes very difficult now for Hope and Missing to have push in that bot lane. They can start to put pressure on towards the tower, start to get plates, and even if you want to look at Rift Herald as well, having this pressure on bot side is fantastic.
I mean, they just need to start playing with some respect towards Jankos. You know, Hope and Missing are not paying the respect over this Graves that he does deserve. You have Nidalee getting deep wards. You have Nidalee invading constantly, taking away the camps. You should be able to know, you know, where that Graves could be to play a little bit more carefully around that. And you can see as a result now, G2 have a great way into this game. They are only 200 gold ahead, 400 now, excuse me. But it's a massive Tristana this early on, and Flakked will have the opportunity to carry this game.
And that's where I start to get a little bit worried as we go Caps and YaGao.
Well, that's an Akali ulti taken. Can he fight? Yes, Sweeper's gonna spot where he's moving. R2 is free targetable. Doesn't go for any more. I don't know if Cap's gonna be able to flash it and lock onto the tower, but doesn't go for the play.
YaGao just about out of mana there as well. You'll see picks up a little bit there, so we didn't have the follow-up, any sort of ability after he got in for the perfect execution, so decides to call it quits. JDG, though, using that pressure in mid, now moving down over towards this dragon.
Well, they're going to go for it. JDG somehow managed to have enough control over the bottom side to grab first Drake of the game. And we're still a minute away from Herald to spawn, so it's time for supports to recall and walk over. Jungle's going to do the same, and with Renekton obviously winning up on the top side, you can see 500 gold to his advantage. There's a chance JDG get both objectives.
There absolutely is. I mean, 369 Kanavi looking strong, mid lane about even, but bot lane is absolutely a disaster. And overall, you'd be so happy about this start here for G2. The fact that they are not even just even in gold with the comp that outscales, they're actually up in gold against this comp that is going to really fall off incredibly fast here for JDG. So G2 just need to continue weathering the storm. Only go for guaranteed plays, chill, farm, and just wait for those items to start coming through because it's going to be looking good for them.
And just on that note, I think with Rift Herald coming up, I'd prefer to see them nerdy try and make a play around bot side. They can spot out Kanavi here, but if JDG are going to try and go for Rift Herald, cool, just like let them have it, right? You go and try and make a play on bot side with Jankos, you can easily trade the 2 turret plates regardless, and if not, just go for a dive anyway and see if you can get even more gold in your favor.
Well, honestly, like, I'm not even sure they need to try anything. Just farm. As long as Jankos can protect these lanes, right? Like, they're in just such a good spot here. There is a slight gold advantage for Kanavi, but still, I mean, Jankos has gotten 3 assists. You know, he got that early kill. Flakked's looking great. You know, your lanes are doing just fine. BrokenBlade will struggle a little bit here, but overall, things are looking really, really good. Jankos going to be going back up towards topside, though. 369 could be in trouble.
Find a bit of CC. He's going to double dash back away. Pops ulti for a bit more health bar. Gets the empowered Q, and now with Kanavi behind him, he's going to be okay. I don't think BrokenBlade can get any more CC down. That is an ulti for an ult. TP back in. Everyone's going to be okay.
Well, it could give G2 prio towards his Herald, but here comes Kanavi. Oh my god, that burst.
I mean, you're going to get the trade on bot side here for G2, so as long as they delay JDG on this Rift Herald, you can see Hope and Missing have already moved up to the top side, so you're just giving Flakked time in this bot lane turn. The Tristana will happily take this, so still you are going to be trading relatively effectively here as G2.
Absolutely, I favor this trade for G2 pretty heavily. If you can actually get that second plate, solo gold onto Tristana, it's going to be close if that goes down or not, but it will be the Herald on the top side, and again, they're going to look for 369, who has no ulti, but will be able to walk it out.
Might have to rest right there on Jankos' side as there are still 4 top side, and this could be the entire tower dying. Chris got some alone time, but yeah, that actually could have been a pretty good Sylas combo. Jump in, land a stun, ulti would nearly kill. But if they want to summon here with 4 there, although with Caps walking up, looks like maybe there's no play. This is the chance at a 4v4, and they don't go for much.
I'm surprised to see them commit so many resources up towards that top side, though, for G2, right? You'd already cleared the wave. You had your wave pushed into mid. Caps could have tried to get a turret plate for himself. Instead, now, we're having YaGao trade those plates on the bottom side, getting kind of an answer for what Tristana had already taken, and now you're putting Rift Herald top.
Yeah, I mean, they really want to push for this tier 1 tower, for this first tower here, to try to, I think, force G2 into taking some sort of a fight.
They want to fight. Tristana right behind them with a Kraken Slayer done at 940. Targamas would love to find a flash W. You can see Hope's early flash. Targamas, he really wants some kind of engagement. This is not going to happen. Pretty much anything that he picked on would have died to Trist with a full combo, but it's going to be a bot wave dying to bot lane tier, to the bot lane tower, and top lane tower itself dying.
Yeah, and Caps actually roamed up as well. YaGao, may be able to get a plate off of this. We'll see if he feels confident to actually step forward or at least stay in range as this plate does fall. But that's a plate bought for YaGao. Then he comes mid, pushes that in, gets the plate there as well. So, YaGao getting about a kill's worth of gold over this last minute.
And that's not even including the first strike that he has there as well. So he's going to be very quickly accelerating. You can see there just on the left-hand side of your screen, 4,000 gold for YaGao. Quite a substantial amount, 600 gold over Caps as well. I mean, Flakked's leading the charge, so he's definitely going to be the one JDG need to be worried about, especially if you start to get more of these turret plates.
Oh, Kanavi over the wall spots one. Does not land on Targamas. Good sidestep there as the turret still takes its shots. We are still pretty far away from turret plates dropping, and Flakked again. Literally up a mythic on his opponent right now.
Yeah, I mean, Hope hasn't been back to base in forever. He just has that early Vamp Scepter here, so JDG do not want to fight around Hope whatsoever, but that is not the spot you want to be in here with the Kalista. When your Kalista is just kind of praying for little bits and scraps of farm here, it's really a bad spot. And
that's why I love the way G2 are playing this. They're consistently keeping Flakked out on the map. They know that in 30 seconds, Dragon is up. Well, if Kalista doesn't get a reset, well, we just have that mythic advantage for the team fight. So that's actually somewhere where they can try and use that advantage. Even here, Flakked and Targamas trying to see if they can stop Hope from resetting, knowing they can use this.
No chance they want to walk away from the top lane right now. They love to get the turret to kill. See if they deny any farm down there. Only a 6 CS difference among the top laners, so those who actually shoves the wave in. Broken will have to get his back. A pull in, not bad. Targamas half HP. But now with Handshake down, Trish should feel safe. But Flakked, I don't know if he doesn't know where Nidalee is, but he is unwilling to attack a tower while up a mythic.
Well, no, and they actually spotted Nidalee on the bottom side because he was actually scrapping with Jankos. So they did know that Nidalee was down there. He's now Doom Dragon, on the scuttle here, but definitely Flakked playing, pretty carefully, to say the least. Cab stepping forward, does have ulti advantage as YaGao spent the stolen ulti there, but will be likely looking to reset. And JDG, I think, really have got to continue playing the objective games, stacking these up as fast as possible, but it's a stolen dragon.
Jankos huge! That's going to buy him a lot of time if it is going to be a race through the early game. Doesn't get hit by much more. Might have to ulti to get away. Actually, it's the E back regardless, and it's just out with a Drake steal. Beautiful.
And it looks like the smoke screen was really what made the difference there. Drops the smoke screen on the Nidalee, so he loses vision of the dragon, and now Cap's looking for the kills.
Dives in for a lot. Missing could be the target. It's a nice ulti across to buy space. Tries to flash away, has a blast plant, but Cap's still in the chase. Auto Q might kill. Auto Q, one more is going to get him for sure. No, the shield. But they're not going to get him back in time. The bailout, I don't think it's going to happen. There's one, and they're chasing in for the next two. A double kill in for Caps, and Jankos gets the second.
JDG JDG commit to try and save Missing, but G2 were there and waiting. Targamas with the engage sets up a massive play for G2. That is so much gold going over in their favor.
That's a huge play for G2. Going to be looking really, really good in this game now. 13 minutes in, and you are down gold still with Kalista, Nidalee, and Renekton. And Tristana pushing for free up on top side. So now the gold lead just going to extend that much further here. Flakked going to be able to take another plate. Has a couple thousand gold to spend. He's 1,700 gold ahead of Hope. It's brutal.
And this is what we were talking about for JDG, right? Oftentimes they just kind of see blood and go for it. And this was where they kind of took that step too far forward, trying to get on towards Jankos. It's a good answer from Caps coming in here off the reset, and trying to save Missing was just that way much of a step too far. Missing goes down. There was no need to try and commit for this. And the second they do, Targamas is there and ready.
It's just been a lot of weird fights here from JDG, if I'm going to be honest. I mean, they knew that G2 was around. The Graze ulti had already been spotted. The sweeper is used there, you know, to actually remove the vision from Targamas. So they know everyone's there. They have the information, but they just elect to opt into these fights, and they're just giving no respect to G2, and they're getting punished.
And that's why JDG have always kind of been a team that even in the LPL, although they had the highest series win, their game score was a little bit of a muddied mess because they'd have these games where they would over-aggress, they wouldn't respect their team or the opposition, and would end up giving over a ton of gold, a ton of opportunities in these early stages. It's the mid-game where they could start to bring it back, but I mean, the gold is still relatively even.
And it's done though, Kanavi here now as well as Caps jumps backwards, says, you know what, now I can fight you, don't have the cooldowns left for me. Smokes around, tries to find it, nearly the kill, but Caps, he overplays in the 1 versus 2.
But here comes G2, BrokenBlade is here, he's TP'd in, Kanavi's gonna be in trouble.
Quick heal, there's the ulti, flashes the root him up in place, knock it forward, BrokenBlade finds 1 kill, but he's under the tower. He's gonna flash in to be 1 for 1. There's no way YaGao doesn't get him here, right? At this point, he's gonna get the slow, he's gonna get the rest of the abilities. So BrokenBlade burns his flash to trade equal gold, but in the bot side, Flakked knocks down a turret.
Yeah, and his teleport as well there. It was a really nice stolen Tristana ulti from YaGao to make sure that it was a one-way trip, just ulting BrokenBlade back even further there. YaGao getting paid off of that. 2 kills back-to-back. Caps tries to get really aggressive here. Does end up paying the price. YaGao is really like the only character, you know, that can kind of scale very well here for JDG, you know, arguably Missing as well. So there is going to be a lot of pressure on YaGao to get things done in this game. And I agree with you, Jack, that, you know, it is more the mid-game, the late game where JDG really do excel. But the problem is the compositions in this one, right? The compositions are so heavily in the favor of G2 that if G2 can play, you know, relatively evenly throughout this next 10 minutes, it just should be their game.
Caps gets the grab with reinforcing to the Krugs. They will not go for any more on the G2 side. Not sure if they had any vision, but it doesn't matter. It is going to be the second Herald claimed here for JDG. Minute 15 to go until the next Drake spawns. It'll be either team's first Mountain Drake. And we're gonna watch that 1v2 from Caps again. Nearly kills Kanavi, doesn't work though.
Yeah, I mean, nice opportunity here for Caps to try and turn around, right? Realizes that there is no cooldowns left available, but just ends up going that little bit too far forward. This turret shot and the damage coming through from YaGao off the passive auto attacks was just that little bit too much. And G2, this is a classic thing that we see from them in LEC, right? Where they will TP, try to commit to a play, catch people off guard and start to snowball these leads. But unfortunately, BrokenBlade gets pushed underneath the tower and ends up giving over another one back in favor of JDG.
Yeah, the stolen Tristana ult, very clever there, just knocking BrokenBlade in. But it is G2 tied on Dragons here, 30 seconds until this one is going to spawn. And Flakked, you know, very close actually to his next item.
Yeah.
Kind of weird that he picked up an additional crit cloak. He could have probably been towards PD. I know that they're relatively efficient though, individually.
So the build he's going for is Zeal to Lord Dominic.
Yeah.
It's a very common like tank busting build, but obviously Renekton has gone forward. Renekton doesn't have the most armor, but we'll see what he goes for on this one, is to move around, and JDG need to fight for the river. Do they get outscaled? Can they fight now in the mid game? 17 minutes. Herald 7 in mid will not quite kill the turret, but he can always run back and get that gold.
YaGao's doing a lot of work here in the backline though. Caps and Flakked low.
Targamas!
Sun from 3-6-9, target the backline, hits on a 3, Berserk buys a bit of time. Hope gonna stay alive for now, Shield Bow on Caps zoned out, and Targamas drops the engagement, but his team cannot help. Thank you to Renata Glasc. Jankos is low, stunned, killed by 3-6-9, and a double kill for Hope.
JDG pulling it back here, winning the team fight in dominant fashion. It was a big engage from Targamas, but he goes over the wall, and Missing's ultimate bought them the time they needed. The hostile takeover was clutch there.
And I love the idea initially from G2, right? You look at the screen, you're like, oh, JDG are super spread out. YaGao is stuck bot side. We've got control of a river. Let's try and make a pick onto Hope with Caps. But unfortunately, because 369 was there, Caps actually can't get the pick. And suddenly you've invested so much into trying to kill the Kalista, you've nothing left then for the upcoming team fight.
Yeah, and I mean, there was just so many tools available for JDG there. You know, we can watch again. It's about this flank coming in, you know, on the side from Targamas here, looking for that angle. Does find the engage on this big clump, but then watch YaGao here. YaGao has stopwatch, missing pops the ulti, then gets pulled in by the Kalista ulti. So really great timing on that ultimate from Renata Glasc. If he didn't actually get that off prior to getting Kalista ultimated, this could have looked like a very different fight. And then 369, as you say, is just zoning out the carries there. There's no follow-up for G2.
Yeah, it was super hard. And then once you're on the chase here for JDG, you've got the spears that are landing from Kanavi. And this is what we were kind of talking about for JDGs. When they get to the mid game, yes, compositionally, definitely I agree. Late game favors G2, but they are so good at finding these moments to pick their fights around objectives, control vision, especially when they just tend to overload one side of the map and look for picks. So that's what we have to keep our eyes on now to see if JDG can take that lead and that 4K gold lead they've managed to find for themselves and keep this pace up.
And I think the pace can keep going. We are seeing a damage out of 369 actually rushes the Gorge Drinker. I know in the LCS we see a lot of Ruin King Sunfire, but actually globally the more common build actually has been Gorge Drinker by a little bit. So relatively common build here onto the Death Dance second as well, so he will be a big damage threat.
And I always feel like if there's 3 melee on the other team, Gorge Drinker is just super high value, right? You know, you're looking over, you see Rell, you see Akali, you see Maokai, even Graves relatively short range, so there's a high chance you can get one of those really big Gorge Drinkers off in the middle of the team. Now, 369 is incredible on this Renekton, always finding the right angle to enter the fights. You know, if you can get in the mix, get in power Q on multiple, get that Gorge Drinker on multiple, it can go huge. But now they're looking to wrap around here on YaGao. Counter TP coming through, but will be a 3v5.
Flash away from the jungler. What's going to find him for? There's the root. There's the combo. A quick shutdown. Does 369 survive this one as he joins on in as well? The Berserk going to hit almost nobody. A single auto from Targamas. 369 holds the front line still. Ulti on. Finds a huge stun in front of the turret. Targamas will die. Caps wants Kanavi. But no! He can't get it! And it's another huge set of shutdowns. A sidestep for Flakked. A jump away for Jankos. But it's over the wall. It's Hope, and he's going to extinguish the last of G2. The Ren's got to be up in a second. The javelins, the spears stick in. Ren's him asunder. Flakked drops, and an ace in the top jungle. The LPL champions will not go down.
And immediately they turn on towards the Baron. It looked dreadful for JDG as YaGao explodes, but they can turn it around, and now they'll get the big purple worm.
Oh my god, JDG gets so much off of that fight. It was looking good for G2, and they're going to try to TP in again here with Caps, but YaGao should be able to walk it out. Caps doesn't even have an ulti, so...
Backwards E, yeah. I mean, if there was no... Okay, flash for it. There's a stun out of Targamas. W over the wall. They're going to get the CC, but is it enough damage is the problem. He steals Rell ult himself. Gets a bit more damage done, but he's lower and lower, and Caps lands his second shuriken flip.
Important kill there for G2. They needed to get something back to try to stifle the momentum here that JDG is building. So Caps coming in, and we can watch this one more time. The initial play, you look at the mini-map, you know, it's Flakked coming up here. It's everyone here arriving for G2. 5 members are there. They get the kill on YaGao right off the bat, but then Caps again diving a little bit too far forward. He has a great sidestep on the ulti from missing, but then as he goes in here onto Kanavi, you can see Hope has now arrived. 369 again, just crushing through those frontliners. Kanavi lives, and it all goes pear-shaped.
Also, just a great ult from Hope, working with Missing there. Gets the knock up onto the 3 members of G2. It separates Caps from the team, so 369 able to go back, deal with the Akali, and then JDG can follow up.
Javelin toss. Thank you very much. A little bit of Void Staff now on the Nidalee, and this is absolutely mass now out of JDG. They're a minute away from the 3rd Drake.
I mean, at the end of the day, Flakked's lead is now gone, right? He was enormously ahead earlier in the game, and he's now down about 500 gold individually to Hope. So the advantage is no longer there whatsoever for G2, and they're just going to have to hope they can hold on somehow, some way here, as JDG are pressing and pressing heavily.
Flakked then pushes lead. The top lane at 10 minutes was Kraken Slayer to Vamp Scepter. Handshake is put on cooldown, and he's like, I can't hit the turret. What if he auto-attacks me? And it's like, dog, you win that 1v2, and just did nothing. G2 did not push their lead ahead, and now you got this game with 6,000 in JDG's favor. unable to use Flakked's lead to get ahead, and JDG about to just crush him with team fights.
But the bright side for G2 is they still do have that incredible scaling if they can try to slow down the game a little bit, play through sides with their soul laners. You can see Caps heading up towards top side here, looking for that tier 2 potentially
who's
to
mid?
deny the wave. No one is mid right now. Flakked and Targamas get zoned out, so they're going to give that up, and they're going to lose the tier 2 bot. It is against the Baron buff, of course, but never something you want to see as a G2 fan.
No, especially when they had, you know, members that could have tried to move around, but the fact that they managed to zone Flakked and Targamas up on the top side now gives JDG access to mid, to bot, to Dragon as well. And I mean, JDG just playing out the map state better right now is 369.
Oh, he's taunting them with the recalls now.
Wonder by Branches Veil with the smoke screen, doesn't quite land at those. It's going to be a red buff taken away, cleanly done. There's the third Drake for JDG. If it wasn't tough enough already, Caps about to find himself dead, jumps as far away as he can, but Kanavi lands the javelin toss, 3, 2, and 7.
The spears are heat-seeking in this one. Kanavi making it work on the Nidalee, and JDG continuing the push. They're shoving down bot here with 369, who is going to be doing really nasty things in this 1v1 at this point.
Now looking for a bit more there is BrokenBlade, going to find himself a root. He's trying to run away, and the rest of the team going to zone out the reinforcements, so he will indeed live. But no mana has to regen onto the base, and with Caps dead as well, this is 5v3. Look at middle inhibitor.
I mean, they'll be able to get middle inhibitor. 369 is push on bot, so they can just send themselves on over towards that one as well. I mean, G2 crumbling now. We were talking about JDG being behind, but suddenly we hit this mid game, they get that slight lead, and they are powering home.
Well, we're just seeing the difference in team fighting, right? The difference in coordination. JDG, just outplaying in these 5v5s. G2 did have some really clever pathing and were able to punish some mistakes early on from Hope and Missing in particular, who really got put way down, by some great ganks from Jankos, but not been able to kind of hold even in some of these fights. And it's been some near misses at times that have been the difference, to be fair. Caps chasing a little bit too far in bot lane, not able to kill Kanavi. Then again on top side by that tower, trying to take down Kanavi, not able to get those kills. It's been these slim margins that have turned into great leads for JDG.
And it's been a similar story to what we saw in JDG versus EG, right? Where EG get these early leads in the bot side and Kanavi goes, right, I'm just going to hyper-focus on this top side. Gets a big lead in the CS for himself, manages to play around 369, gets YaGao into a decent position, is still picking up Rift Heralds as they go along, and suddenly that's enough to just get JDG that slight edge, buy them space and time where the gold lead's relatively even until they can get to these later Dragon fights, and that 5v5 explodes.
Well, and you just look at the top lane now, right? Check out the itemization difference between these two top laners. That is a 5,000 gold lead between those two individuals. 4-3-6-9, who for me is the best top laner in the world. I think this guy is truly unmatched up there, and is showcasing his power in this game. Has the early 3 items, working towards a 4th year already, and he's going to be so difficult for G2 to actually deal with. He's tanky enough with the Death Dance, Goredrinker, and Randuin's that you can't just burst him down, but you also can't ignore him.
Well, they're going to try for a little something. They don't quite get the stun as Caps jumps to melee range. 369 pretty fast in the slice. And that means for G2, no dice.
I mean, it's a nice attempt from G2. Maybe if you can get him, you can start to put threat onto the tier 2, maybe onto the base for JDG. But now with that, this is the downside. You've committed so many members to bot side. JDG get to keep pushing top side. They're getting vision control for Baron. And now it becomes nigh on impossible for G2 to actually try and contest this.
With poke ult out of YaGao, doesn't do much with it. But now it's a handshake, that's gotta be a death. Jankos is burning. A little bit of health left, but I think the Ignite will kill. Last tick will not survive with a sliver of health.
That's actually really important because the Baron is spawning here, so if he goes down, JDG would have certainly just started that right up, but they're going to anyway. 369 has actually TP'd in. They're going to start this on spawn. They know Jankos needs to walk back out of base, and there's no vision for G2, so they have to slowly encroach in. It's going to be too late.
You're going to march into a 4v5 with already 3k health left on it. You've got no smite. There's only a fight to be had at all, and they're in range. They don't get the Baron, but they sure as hell get themselves stunned. G2 are too late to do anything but watch their teammates die. 1-0 so far. 369 in for a second stun. Javelin's gonna land. Targamas buys a second, but it won't be much more than that. The second death is already there. Make it a third. Caps is here to serve himself up as well. He's got nowhere else to go. A triple kill for Kanavi. Then Jankos nearly died in the base, but now just sees he's got no one left to help him.
JDG will TP down to the bottom side. With the second Baron, they will look to close out this game.
Down to the final turrets, the final nexus. JDG will go for 5-0. The fight for first place in the group. The only way they could lose that is if they get forced a tiebreaker, they have complete control over their own destiny. So far, undefeated the World Championship. The LPL champions, one of the favorites to win the entire thing, have still not dropped an entire game. G2 can watch the end of their tournament lives, a 1-5 record. The winless week for the LEC sadly continues. Their hopes rest on Rogue, and JDG still first in the group.
Just such an impressive comeback here from JDG. They draft full early, they get behind, and this is one of those games that started to smell like an upset, started to feel like, hey, G2 could actually take this game down. Really were in a position to be able to do it, but it's the team fighting from JDG that really pulls them through. They dominate the 5v5 at the Dragon. They outplay in what began as the 3v5 up in top lane, and after those couple fights, they really took hold of that lead and never let it go.
I just love how JDG fall behind and they're like, I got them right where I want them. Every single time. We saw it against top esports twice in semis and in finals. Now we get on the international stage as well, where they'll have these points where they fall pretty decently behind. But still, when this mid-game comes around, the team fights come around, the opportunities to find picks, and always just keep that gold lead within touching distance, thanks to Kanavi, 369, YaGao. And when we get to that later point, it just feels inevitable that they'll take over.
And I feel bad for Targamas because he played the first 5 minutes of that game, I think literally perfectly. Every engage was massive. The flash knockback and a stun. First double kill. Second one, he's prepping a Hex Flash for the expected ward and tri-brush. Another double kill. Like, it was perfect. Targamas was so damn